right. Hey guys, Sam and Gannett here. And we've got some special guests in the studio. We have the team from, is it Music of the Bahamas or Songs of the Bahamas?
Music of the Bahamas.
Music of the Bahamas. That's here with us. Could you guys tell us who you are?
So I'm Adrian Archer. I'm the music director for Music of the Bahamas, and
I'm Marcel T. Sherman. I'm the narrator for the show.
Music of the Bahamas is a docu-musical, if you can call it correctly, which charts the music genre of the Bahamas in its various forms from pre-slavery until independence in 1973. And so the story of how Music of the Bahamas came to being is that many years ago, the Dundas folks, including Clement Bethel and Philip Burrows, were in Edinburgh, Scotland, and they were performing a work there, and they found that they had a space to do something else. Nicolette Bethel's father, who was the late Clement Bethel, the first director of culture for the Bahamas, had developed his master's thesis around a piece called Music in the Bahamas, and they took a chapter out of that thesis and created this work called Music of the Bahamas. And so it tells the story of the way music has evolved in the Bahamas from its African roots, using its European styles. It goes into music to do with wakes and funerals and quadrille and rake and scrape and Junkanoo. And so anybody that comes to this production will leave knowing quite well the history behind some of what you're hearing, behind some of the dancing, because there's some dancing incorporated as well, and the singing. And we have a great cast of about 21 singers who are flying in, and they sing all sorts of things. We've done it 2 or 3 times. I've had the honor to be the music director for the 3rd time, and it's one of my favorite works because it's a Bahamian work. And I find myself, as I said to Marcel, we talked about this, every time we do it, there's something new about it.
Yeah.
There's something new that we didn't pick up on, either as we were rehearsing it or as we're performing it. There's something exciting about it, and it's something to be proud of as a Bahamian, and I'm immensely proud of it, of the entire work, particularly since it's Clement's work. And the history of Clement and I go back many, many years, and so I'm very proud to perform any work that Clement has done because he was my mentor in music.
Oh, okay.
And so between Music of the Bahamas and Sammy Swain, which is another folk work, even though I've done many musicals, these are my favorite pieces because they are from him. And this one particularly because I identify with so much of it. Personally, my family is Anglican, so it's traditionally music, and then Marcel's is Roman Catholic, but then you have your jumper, you have your Adventist, you have your Baptist, and this weaves all that in the most clever hour and 20 minutes for production.
And I think as a Caribbean people, even though it's called Music of the Bahamas, it's very Caribbean. It's very African. You know, it's a combination of who we are as a people. It doesn't hide who we are, and we have to appreciate through music and the storytelling. And as Adrian alluded to, I have been involved in this particular production, Music of the Bahamas, since its inception in 1981. We took it to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and over the course of the years, we have seen it, and it has grown. Nothing has changed, mind you, but every time we do it, something new comes to light.
Yeah.
I've narrated it over the years, and before we did this, before we staged this production here, we did a newer version using students as the narrators. And I was the director for that one. Adrian, of course, was the musical director. And so for this particular production here, I have gone back to being the narrator. And I'm sitting at home going through the script, and I said, my God, there's something that I didn't know that makes so much sense. And so the narration, even though it's called Music of the Bahamas, but the narrator must tell the story in order for the musicians and the chorus to come through. Because they tell the story that the narrator brings. It is It will blow you away. That's all we're going to say.
I just got just one or two clips, and I knew.
It will blow you away.
Because they sent us the video reel of the whole circle. And the thing about listening to it, as you said, I can hear what I remember Ghana folk songs.
Exactly.
I'm hearing, it's just the words are different, but it's the whole, everything, I can identify with that as part of my culture growing up.
And you know, the other piece that you guys mentioned, because it's the African and European, and our team will know, we say this a lot, that we are such a mix of those things that we feel a sense of home and comfort in both.
Yes.
And so I'm happy that you guys mentioned that even in just your telling of this, because folks from the Caribbean will understand when we're trying to tell our story is not just one thing, right? It's why we feel so comfortable in, I tell them I get absorbed in British theater and shows and stuff. But it's, what is it? It feels familiar.
Yes,
It
me
is
too.
familiar.
Me too.
No.
Downton Abbey, all of these. You have to watch them.
It is familiar. And a lot of times we don't find things that are familiar to us.
Yeah.
And so that's, again, I would love to see more of this history and telling of our Caribbean stories, because again, we have to do it. Like
Yes.
we're a unique experiment. We're newer in our culture, but our culture is an amazing mix, a beautiful
It's
mix. That's
interesting,
different.
you know. Go ahead.
Good. And I think what we, our generation, and the young and young, but what we have to understand is that we have a responsibility to make sure the continuity, and as you were saying, it hasn't changed, but it has changed.
Yes.
You know, and that's the beauty of it, because we do the Orlando Carnival, and it hasn't changed, but it's changed.
But it has
Yeah.
I think there's certain elements that are being woven into it that are different from what it was before, but the end result is the same when you walk in, like, you know, this was different this year, or this presentation, something about the storytelling came across, I got a different meaning from it, which I can understand you're saying. It's changed, and we know how to understand it. Our responsibility is to make sure that the generations behind us are understanding and appreciating that
Yeah.
legacy of where we came from
Yeah.
and keeping that chain alive.
And not to give anything away, because I don't want to spoil the element of surprise, because there are a lot of surprises here. But there's a section in the first section, in the religious section, where we talk about the funeral march. I grew up watching the funeral marches on Sunday, and every time I get to that section, it takes me back to my childhood on a blessed Sunday afternoon on Meeting Street, and the bands are just going, because I was surrounded by graveyards. We had churches, we had the Bethel Baptist Church on one side, St. John's Baptist, and then we had the Western Cemetery, and so that was the main cemetery. So on a Sunday afternoon, for me as a child,
It was always a
we had, front row seats. And so every time I do it, and then when the chorus comes in with it, wow, but I cannot react. I cannot react, but I feel it. Okay? And we had somebody who came to view our rehearsal the other night, and the comment that was made, I feel like I've been to church.
It's a mystical experience for true. And I think that what is happening is that it's a lived experience over the years. And I try to tell singers that they have to live the music. The music has to come up off the pages. I don't care what has been written, from Beethoven till now. The music does not exist on the pages, no matter how you play it, no matter how you sing it. It has to come from you. And then, so in this work, when the lights come to full blaze at the beginning of the show, and one of the choruses saying, I am so glad, that you go, and people go, oh my God, and that's exactly what we want people to come away with. We want them to come away with, goodness me, these people actually feel this music. You can feel it exuding from them. And that's not because they are pretending. That's because they believe the music that they sing. And you can tell in the work over the years. We have some people in this work who have been there from the first year, including Marcel, but some singers who've been there from then until now, and they have transitioned from one character to the next, from the younger one to an older one, and they can tell you that the music has the tenor has changed, but it's still the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I like about this work is this work allows there to be changes even now and still be the music of the Bahamas. When we did this in maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we added a song, only because it's my favorite song. Someone's dying every day, so when my friend sings it, that's where I just get slain in the spirit. But because it works in that particular segment of the production, you can do that. And there's so much more that we have not even tapped into in terms of the music. This music was discovered by Clement Bethel, who went to the islands of the Bahamas and just talked to old people, and they sang music to him, and he took a pen and he wrote it all down.
Serious?
Yes, yeah. This was happening. This music that we're exposing people to is music that 4 generations ago sang, and that he knew the great grandparents of somebody who sang something to him, and he wrote it down, and he compiled it all in a big book, and I'm so happy that I have that book. And there's so much more that we don't have time to sing or time to perform. But what it says is that there's so much more research and so much more of it to do and for it to discover. So we're leaving it with another generation. It's been now done 3 generations, and we have singers in it now who've never been in any productions before. And so when Marcel and I step off the stage, God bless, 20 years from now, somebody else will be doing it.
That's a continuity.
legacy lives on.
You see?
That's the
important.
tone of today.
And some of the original persons who were in the original production, they have passed on, but they have left that legacy behind. I know when one of the singers, when we did it a couple of years ago, and I sat there, I listened to her, and I said, "You're on point. You remind me of Pat."
Yeah, because I think
because I said, "No, you're not Pat. You have to create it on your own." And I think that is the issue that many of us as actors or performers, if somebody else has done it. You know, I'm a big fan of Patti LaBelle. I love when Patti gets out there, but Patti is Patti.
Yeah.
Adrian can't be Patti. Adrian has to be Adrian, and he has to bring his own take on it. Okay? In much the same way, one of the performers in here, when she did it the first time a few years ago, and I said to her, listen, you got it, you know.
Yeah, because I think people think that they have to be whoever sang the role before. You know, one of the favorites of this production is "I Bid You Good Night," which is sung at most graveyards. "Farewell, I Bid You Good Night," and so the song is not just Bahamian. We did it before, and someone ran to me and said, "Oh my God, we sang that in Kingston. Oh my God, I haven't heard it in 40 years."
Wow.
And so what you will find, I'm hoping that people will find, those of us who are in the Caribbean diaspora and will see this, will say, "Goodness me, I know that song. I know that chant. I know that rhythm."
That's it.
Because the rhythm
Is the base, is the funk.
and that is found in every island.
That is what, when I listened to the reel, there was a rhythm that was like, the words were not the words I knew from growing up, but there was a beat, there was a rhythm, there's a pulse, and I was like, I remember that.
Yes.
I know that this is from my childhood growing up,
Yes.
but the words
That's
were
what I'm saying.
Yes.
Right.
And I think to your point, actually both made the same point. The rhythm is there, but each new person coming into it brings a different life out of it that's theirs. And that's why it continuously evolves into being the same thing.
Yes, but different.
Yeah, and we were talking about that only with mentoring, with anything sustaining. It's funny, that's the conversation that we've had in multiple rooms today. That is honestly how things that we want to succeed and to pass on, we have to intentionally nurture that legacy.
That's what it is. It's intentional.
Yeah,
You have to be intentional. If you are not, particularly since nowadays, people are inundated with so many different messages, so many different styles, that unless you are intentional and it is your intent to make sure that this music is passed on, it won't be passed on. Which is what we do. Whenever we have our productions, there has to be a Bahamian production. There has to be a Bahamian something, so that when we're finished, when we had our anniversary, we did a year of Bahamian work, a Bahamian theater. Every month there was a production by a Bahamian writer, Bahamian produced, because this stuff is coming so fast and furious, and all these young people are just hearing everything else and all the noise. Then all of a sudden, what we are intricately as a Caribbean people is lost.
Lost.
And if we're not careful to maintain that, it will be gone and gone forever.
Well, I say this too. Remember, we're young in this telling of our cultural
That's
stories.
true.
And so we're not accustomed to thinking that we're stewards of this culture. We have to be the ones who tell it. That's now, I think, dawning on a lot of us, because we're 50 years old in history, 100 years old. That's a little blip.
That's
it's
true.
still early, so we have to. Otherwise, it will be completely
It'll be
changed
gaps,
and
so we
shattered.
have to be lost because we
Yeah.
feel it's,
We have to tell it.
And I think this is why I'm happy about this particular production, and I'm grateful to Clement for actually doing the work, because unless you're prepared to do the work, then you don't have the information. If he
That's
didn't think, you know
true.
what, I have to take time from my studies in London and come to Nassau and go to Cat Island and Long Island and Rum Key and San Salvador and speak to every old mama by underneath their tree and say, sing me a song, because that's what he did. He literally went and wrote down every little tune and put the words to it, or had someone sing him the words, and was able to compile it into something that's there for the history
that's awesome.
to be heard, to be read forever.
That's awesome.
And here we are bringing that book to life, which is the greatest honor for me, because it means that whenever I'm done with this, someone's going to say, well, it was produced and it's passed on, and everybody that's in my cast, they know as a music director, my job is to not whip them into shape. My job is to make sure that they actually understand what it is they're singing, and that they will take it from me. Because if I were to say, you know what, I fall sick tonight and I can't come to the theater, somebody has to be there to make that run.
And
Yes.
I think, as just to add to what Adrian is saying, the reason why we're here in Orlando is because we had an international audience that night when we performed. And when an invitation, when the meeting took place with the artistic director, and he met with Orlando Shakes executive, and the question was raised, they said,
Music of the
Music of
Bahamas.
the Bahamas.
That's
So
what they
it
said.
meant that we had the effect.
Yes.
We didn't know,
Yes.
okay? But
We had done it. We had done it for a whole week, and we left the last show for the executives of the Shakespeare organization to watch. And I remember thinking, "Oh my God, this is the last night. These people are not going to have the energy to do this." But they did. They made such an impression on all these other directors of theaters around the world that when the exchange idea came up, and Philip had a conversation, he couldn't get out of his mouth soon enough, "What do you want us to bring?" That they said, "Music of the Bahamas." We'd like to take it to Prague. We'd like to take it to New York, but it has to come to Orlando first. And so that's where we are now, because they insisted we bring it. We could have brought any number of things, but they insisted on Music of the Bahamas, and they're paying for it.
Love
You know what I
it.
mean? So there we
Love it. Love it.
That's a win-win.
That's a win-win.
And I'll tell you, and I think you guys will see it in the crowd that comes out. You will see how many people you're gonna. We call it like you will be taking people home, and I'm sure you've experienced
Oh, yeah, I've
that
heard
wherever
this,
you've
yes.
gone, especially anywhere that you're in a diaspora
Yes.
audience. You guys will be transporting people home, and it is incredibly amazing work that you're doing, because it literally takes us out.
Feeds your soul.
It feeds our soul. It really does across the diaspora.
And I'm glad you said it, because that's our aim. Our aim is to leave you thinking, wow, that was my Grammy's day. Or, wow, I remember from when I was growing up. Oh, wow, my grandmother sang this song. Or, wow, this connects with me in some real manner. You know, we like to perform. There's no doubt about that. And when you see these performers, they just can't wait to get on the stage. But at the end of the day, we want people to say, yeah, it was really nice. But we want to go, my goodness me, I hear that from somewhere before, but I don't know where it is. And I feel like I've been fed with something that is of me.
Yes.
And that is what we're trying to do.
Guys, 2 performances. Saturday we'll be at the 8 o'clock one. You may see us right back at the 3 o'clock. I'm pretty sure that I'll be at both. And the timing couldn't be better. It is Emancipation Weekend in the Caribbean.
It is.
And I think it's just God's timing.
It is.
Everything is time.
It's God's timing, because I didn't even think about this until we were sort of getting down to what the days. I thought, oh, it's Emancipation Weekend. And the vast majority of this program talks about that portion of our life where we were enslaved, and when we tried to get out of slavery, when we were emancipated, and then get more into the modern path. So all of this is as though we are conjuring up our
We're conjuring up
the spirits, our ancestors with this music. You know what I mean? And I just give me the thing to think about it, because we're calling them back. We're calling them back. The drums are calling them back. The Junkanoo is calling them back. The cowbells. Once the story of Junkanoo, which people don't even know, which we tell actually in the production, and we talk about how it was used over the years. The fact that it was really a rallying cry, not just a festival. It meant something. There were messages in Junkanoo that people don't know. And so at the end of the day, we want people to have learned something and to have felt something that's uniquely Bahamian, but also Caribbean. It's as though it's all of us.
And it's universal.
It's just fantastic.
It's universal.
It is.
So we're looking forward
everybody
to
has had their struggles, and at the end of the day, we look forward to having an audience who leave us entertained but educated.
Yes.
And I'm not going to politics, but the timing is so perfect.
You leave
So
that.
many levels.
I'm excited. Thank you guys.
We are proud of who we are.
Yes.
And I want you to know we are proud of who we are, and we are proud to bring it to an audience, and we want people to leave feeling that they are proud of who they are.
Yes.
Because that is what this work is intended to do. It's not just a performance. It's sort of like I can't even explain enough, because it's supposed to leave you feeling like something just washed over me. That's going to help me be better. So we're proud to present it.
And that's it. And one of the things we, as our platform, we want everybody to feel the synergy. Be proud of where you are, regardless of where you are from.
Exactly.
What your ancestry. There is pride in that history. There's a pride in that ancestry. Don't let external circumstances change that pride. Hold that. And shows like this do that. They give you a sense of, it's like, and as you're saying, when you leave, you must leave with that feeling of educated and empowered to be who you are based on your ancestors.
And proud of your identity. Yes. Proud of, listen, we had struggles. The Bahamian history is one of struggles. There's no doubt about that. And we had a conversation with one of our cast members because he didn't like the wording of some of the bits of the cast. But that's what the history was.
Yeah.
And so we are proud to say that this is who we were. We struggled. We had fights and arguments.
And we came out of it.
And we came out to a country that can identify and work with other countries on the world stage.
Yes.
So that's what the Bahamas is here for.
And it's not politics. Okay, and a lot of people tend to think it's all political. It's not political.
Yeah,
it's about who you are as a person.
Yes. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And on that note,
I love it. Guys,
we look forward to being there, and we look forward to seeing
everybody there. We have to show up because more of this has to come back, right? Thank you, Orlando Shakes, for actually choosing to bring this story.